Hi, my name's Hilton, and today we're going to talk about airbags. Many of you who've been following my channel will know that I bought this Audi A6 in November of 2023, and I've had the car now for 6 months. Now when I bought the car, I didn't know there was an outstanding recall on this car at all. It's not even something that went through my mind. But the first thing that I thought was Takata, and I have subsequently found out that this car was never fitted with a Takata airbag. It is a 2008 model, so it does fall within that range where it could have been fitted with a Takata airbag, but it wasn't. Now, I don't know what was fitted on the driver's side. I can't find any information on that, but what I do know is that the airbag that was fitted on the passenger side, the front airbag in the dash, was produced by a company called ARC. At the beginning of 2009, there was a very serious incident where somebody's airbag deployed and they were injured by the airbag, not the accident. And the NHTSA did an investigation on that, so I decided to do a little bit of research. And upon doing that research, I found that ARC were approached by NHTSA in the United States because that's where the first incident happened. Looking at the stats, I can't really tell exactly how many cars were involved because the numbers change all the time depending on which website you go to. The one website mentions 67 million vehicles. The other one mentions 100 million vehicles that are affected. Now the brands that are affected are not just GM, it's Audi, Volkswagen, General Motors, Ford, some Ford models, not all of them, Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, and there are a few others. ARC disputed that there was anything wrong with the airbags, and they did tests on them. But what actually happens in the event of someone being injured by one of these is it's not the airbag itself, it's actually the canister, which is the igniter for the airbag, and the canister holds the gas that creates the explosion and forces the airbag to come out. But I'm going to put a clip of that news bulletin in now so you guys can watch that and make up your own minds, and they do give you the brands in there as well.
New at 6, investigators say some airbags that are supposed to protect you in a crash are exploding and causing injuries instead. A dozen automakers use airbag inflators from a company called ARC. That company is refusing to a request from federal regulators that it recall millions of those airbags. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray live in Northeast Atlanta. And Justin, at this point, we don't even know what makes and models could be included.
And Linda, when there is a recall, it's pretty easy to know if you're impacted. You just check the VIN on your car, put it in the NHTSA database, and it's that simple. But in this case, millions of those ARC airbags are out there, and we don't know what vehicles they're in. We're not sharing the identity of this Michigan woman, but you can see the severe injuries.
My client was catastrophically injured.
The piece of metal in this cup is the shrapnel doctors removed from her neck. Her attorney, Andrew Parker Felix from Morgan & Morgan, says she's still breathing out of a tracheotomy tube from the March injuries.
It shot shrapnel into her neck, destroyed her jaw. It knocked out multiple teeth.
The cause of the injuries was the airbag in her car, more specifically the inflator, manufactured by a company called ARC. You can see it here after shrapnel ejected out when the airbag deployed. Federal regulators at NHTSA just sent this letter to ARC asking for the voluntary recall of 67 million ARC inflators, writing that they, quote, pose an unreasonable risk of death or injury that may result from an item of motor vehicle equipment that, when not defective, is designed to save lives.
They're the ones responsible for basically putting a grenade in consumer steering wheels.
NHTSA says it has documented 2 deaths and at least 7 injuries tied to the ARC inflators. But ARC is refusing to recall the inflators, writing back to NHTSA, quote, the existence of 7 field incidents does not support a finding that a systematic and prevalent defect exists. NHTSA says it's a manufacturing defect. Excess debris clogs the inflator. Michael Brooks is the executive director of the Center for Auto Safety.
So essentially you have a canister where the pressurized gas has no way to escape. and it becomes a bomb.
Channel 2 Action News has shown you before what it looks like when that happens and an airbag inflator explodes. The ARC inflators cause the same type of explosions as the Takata airbag defect that led to a massive worldwide recall. We know at least 12 vehicle manufacturers use the ARC inflators, but do not know what car makes and models may have the alleged faulty parts.
They're very protective of which airbags they're installing in which vehicles. That's confidential information to them, so they don't like that information getting out, even though it prevents consumers from being a little more aware of whether their vehicle might have a defect.
So the next step is for NHTSA to issue a final report. Then they could take ARC to court to require them to recall these airbags. Now, some automakers, they're going ahead and doing this on their own. GM just last week issued a recall for more than 1 million vehicles that have ARC components, among them the Chevy Traverse that woman here in our story was driving. Reporting live in Northeast Atlanta, Justin Gray, Channel 2 Action News.
Right, so that was very interesting, I'm sure. So what I would recommend is the first thing that you need to do, contact your nearest dealer, give them the VIN of your car and ask them to check if there's an outstanding recall. There are also websites you can go to, you can enter your car's VIN, but I found when I went to those websites and entered my car's VIN, it didn't come up that my car had an outstanding recall. So the safest thing to do is to call the dealer, because when I called my dealer to book my car in for its big service, which I'll do a separate video on, I asked them if they could check if there's an outstanding recall on this car, and they came back with the answer of yes, the passenger airbag needs to be changed. I thought they were just going to replace the igniter, but they replaced everything. So what I did is I immediately went to my car and I turned the passenger airbag off. And on my car, you use the key of the car, and there's in the glove box another key slot where you can actually just manually turn it with a key and you can switch it off. And then there's a light that illuminates here on your dash that says passenger airbag off, and when I start the car as well, it keeps reminding me the passenger airbag is off. But now that it's fixed, it tells me the passenger airbag is on. So this cost Audi a total of $2,000 to do on this car, on this old car, which is not worth a lot of money. So that's just something I thought I'd warn you guys of. I haven't seen any YouTubers do any stories on this, so I just thought I'd do a video to warn people that you may be driving a ticking time bomb. And a ticking time bomb, it certainly would be if it injures you or your loved ones. And all I can say is go and check it out. Go and have it checked out if you have any doubts, and take care and drive safe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.